Hi there. Welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about self-care, allowing your body and your mind the opportunity to restore what's depleted. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify where you need to, ease your way into child pose at any time should you need to take a little rest. You ready to begin? Let's hit the mat. We're going to start off today's class by running through the A series of the Tibetan rites. Before we begin the rites, I'm going to demo each one of the 5 rites so that when we get started, we can flow with continuity without stopping from one rite right into the next. To begin with, you're going to start with a little clockwise spin. You're going to open up your feet a little bit wider than hip-width distance apart, float the arms into a T-frame. You're going to begin spinning clockwise. Each time you complete one revolution, you bring your eye back to a focal point on the wall in front of you just to help with your balance and your coordination. If you find that spinning is not for you this morning, you're going to start with the same frame, but you're just going to give me half a helicopter flow side to side, bending and pivoting on the back leg. You're going to repeat 21 repetitions. For your next rite, you're going to come to a kneeling frame, feet soft and relaxed in parallel behind your knees. You're going to start with your arms soft and relaxed at your side and your chin dropped softly towards your chest. You're going to open up into a soft back bend, cupping your bum, and then come back to your start position. Opening up into a little camel and then dropping back into a soft long spine. 21 repetitions. Then you're going to sit up nice and tall in staff pose, arms floated at your side, fingertips looking towards your toes, or you can give me a fisted line if you prefer. You're going to draw the hands back, bending the knees, pushing up into a little tabletop line, and then come back to your start position, flowing dynamically between staff and the little table. If this is too much for you, you're going to drop gently down to the elbows, tucking the fingertips underneath your bum. You're going to give me 21 leg raises, lifting up and down. For the next rite, you're going to make your way onto the back, arms and legs long and lengthened on the mat. On an exhale, you're going to float the arms and the legs up, hovering the arms just off the mat and scooping to imprint your lower back, weight just off the shoulders, and then float back to your start position. Exhaling to come up, inhaling to come down. If you find that this is too rigorous for you, you can bend the knees and move into a little tabletop position and just modify your movement slightly, still scooping to imprint the lower back and peeling the weight off the shoulders. 21 repetitions. Then you're going to roll over and set yourself up in a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat, alternating between a down dog and an up dog. Exhale to pike up towards the ceiling in a little triangular frame, and then inhaling to come through your plank line, strong through the shoulders and the upper body. If this is too much for you, you can modify and you can play between a down dog and a small kneeling tap on the mat, alternating between the two. 21 repetitions, and then we'll kick back in child pose and we'll start with the main series of the class. You ready to begin? Pick your frame for your first little spin. Find a drishti or a focal point on the wall in front of you. Open up your arms into T and then begin spinning. I'm going to set a moderate rate. Set the rate that works for you, shooting for as close to 21 repetitions as you can achieve. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. One more to go. Then you're going to bring your hands into a high prayer position, looking at your thumbnails, nothing else. Wait for the room to stop spinning. Just focus on your two thumbnails. And then when you're ready, you're gently going to bring it down to a kneeling frame. Side view. Kneeling up nice and tall, arms at your sides, feet tracking behind your knees. Inhale to cup the bum, arcing through the spine. Exhale to nod your chin to your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. One more to go. Drop down onto the bum and set yourself up in a seated frame. Staff pose, sitting up nice and tall, feet about hip width distance apart, arms at your sides, fingertips looking towards the toes or fists. Push up into a little tabletop and then float back to your seat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more to go. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2 more to go, and we're going to find our way onto our back. Ease your way from here onto the elbows and then onto the back, floating the arms and the legs into extension. Exhale to bring the limbs up. Inhale to float back to the mat. 5, 10, 15, 20, 1 more to go. Bend the knees, connect the soles of your feet. Roll over and set yourself up in a 4-point kneeling frame. Exhale for down dog. Inhale to come through the plank line into an up dog. Moving dynamically between the two frames or dropping through the knees. 5, 10, 15, 6 more to go. Last one. Ease your way into child pose. Big toes together, knees open nice and wide, extending the arms long and lengthened as you take a little recovery stretch here, connecting your forehead softly to the mat, pushing off your palms and sinking your bum bones as far back towards your heels as you can comfortably manage. Then gently peel up through your 4-point kneeling frame, changing your orientation on the mat and open up the legs into a wide standing straddle. We're going to start brewing a slow vinyasa. As you transition side to side, you're going to open up into a wide standing straddle with your feet square and your arms in a beautiful T-frame. If the arms start fatiguing, you can drop the arms to the top of your thighs at any stage. Make sure that your feet are nice and squared, opened up as wide as you can, and as the body warms up, try to take your stance wider and wider so that you can really get into the hips and the groin. Find your straddle. Check that your arms are parallel to the floor, palms facing down, reaching along and lengthened through your fingertips as if you were trying to tap the wall on opposite sides of the room. Take a big breath in and then open up your right foot and transition into a warrior 2 frame, keeping that back leg at 90, checking that you're not dropping through the arms, and hold here for at least 20 seconds, reaching long and lengthened through the arms and trying not to drop that front knee in. So keep pretending that somebody's pushing from the inside. Keep your gaze steady over your front forefinger. Keep your breathing long and lengthened. Come back to your original start position, squaring up through the feet, and keep those arms floating for as long as you can without dropping them if at all possible. Find your warrior 2 frame on side 2. Opening up the front leg, dropping down as low as you can through the pelvis, and lengthening through the arms, trying to hold for 20 soft seconds. Keep your breathing long and lengthened and keep looking to the wall in front of you. Float back to your original start position, dropping the arms if you need to, or keeping them floating long and lengthened, palms facing down. Keep reaching through those fingertips. Come back to your first warrior 2 and let's begin adding to our vinyasa. Square up, find your frame, reach long and lengthened, keeping your breathing soft and relaxed. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. From our warrior 2 frame, we're going to morph into a side angle. Drop the lead elbow to the knee and extend the opposite arm overhead, reaching long and lengthened and trying to hold your modified side angle for at least 20 seconds. Try not to lean aggressively into your bent elbow. Keep pushing into the back heel, almost trying to float your rib cage up to the ceiling and giving me a long extended line from the back heel through the meridian of the leg, through the rib cage, and then reaching and extending through the meridian of the arm. Ease your way back into your T-frame, square up through your feet. If the arms are starting to fatigue, drop them to the legs. Alternatively, keep them as long and as lengthened as you can manage. Keep reaching with your fingertips for the opposite ends of the room and keep squaring up through the feet, opening them up as wide as you can. And as the inner thighs start softening, start opening up the legs a little bit wider. Find your warrior 2 frame on side 2. Check that your hips are looking to the side of the room. You're not looking to the front of the room. That back leg needs to be anchored at 90. Keep your gaze steady over your front forefinger. When you're ready, find your modified side angle, dropping down onto the elbow and extending the opposite arm overhead. Looking for that long line through the meridian of the back leg, through the rib cage, and extending through the top arm. Trying not to lean aggressively onto the bent elbow and almost pushing the weight back into the back heel so that the weight distribution is equal on both legs. Float back to your T-frame, arms reaching long and lengthened, or drop them to the top of your thighs if you need a timeout. Keep looking for length through the spine and incrementally try to maybe open up your legs a little bit wider. Make sure that the feet stay squared. Weight wrapping around big toe, little toe, and into the heel. Set up your warrior two on side one, dropping a little bit lower to the floor. Looking for that length through the arms, dropping the shoulders and the collars away from the ears. Viribadrasana 2, warrior 2. Set up your side angle, dropping down the elbow on the lead leg and then extending and trying to grow the top rib cage towards the ceiling. Keep your breathing long and lengthened, and remember this is a slow vinyasa. We're going to use this side angle and we're going to rotate it. Take your floating overhead arm and drop it to the floor so that it anchors underneath your shoulder, rotating on the back foot, and then opening up the arms into a soft T-frame. Keep your front knee stacked over your ankle. Don't lean the weight forward. Keep pushing back into the back heel and open up the inner thighs, working the weight distribution equally on both legs. Try not to lean aggressively into your anchoring arm. Keep floating your top fingertips up towards the ceiling. Open back up into your T-frame, squaring up through the feet. If you need to, drop the hands to the top of your thighs and take a rest, or keep those arms floating long and lengthened. Who knew that just holding up the arms could produce such a strong workout through the upper body? All right, let's find that warrior two frame on side two. Square up your front leg, dropping lower to the floor. Keep those arms floating in T. Reach for the wall in front of you and the wall behind you, and keep your gaze steady over your front forefinger. Then bend your lead arm, drop it to the top of your thigh, and set up your extended side angle. Reaching long and lengthened, pretend that you're a marionette. Somebody's holding those top fingertips and trying to pull that top arm up towards the ceiling. Then start rotating, tuck the back toes under, plant your right hand underneath your right shoulder, rotate, and think of opening up your arms into a soft T-frame, not leaning aggressively into the bottom arm, but rather extending through the top arm. Peel back up into your wide straddle, opening up the arms into T or dropping them to the top of your thighs and taking a little time out. Square up to your feet. Try to open up a little bit wider through the inner thighs. Keep your breathing long and lengthened. Set up your warrior two line on side one, dropping as low as you can, opening up that lead knee and reaching, checking that you're not leaning forward. Keep that weight traveling down through your pelvis towards the floor. Set up your side angle, bending that lead elbow, dropping it to the lead knee, and then taking a beautiful overhead stretch, almost trying to bring that arm as close to your top ear as you could comfortably manage. Then start rotating through the body, stacking your hand underneath your shoulder as you come into your T-frame, pushing back into that back heel and holding that stretch. Then we're going to change the foot line slightly, coming into Shavasana, nectar of the moon. You're going to think of squaring up your front foot, knife edge in your back foot, and you're going to trace a big circular arc through the top arm. Trying to keep that front foot firmly planted at 90 and knife edging the back foot so that both sets of toes are facing in the same direction. Ease your way back to the mat, squaring up through your feet, peeling up, hands either resting on your thighs or opening up long and lengthened into that T-frame and checking that you're squaring up through the feet. Keep a little tuck of your tailbone and the belly button pulled in. Find your warrior two on the second side, dropping a little bit lower through the pelvis, lengthening through the arms, dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Find your side angle, relaxing elbow to knee and extending long and lengthened through the top arm. Keep your breathing long and lengthened. Rotate your side angle, tucking the back toe under and finding a beautiful soft T-frame through the arms. Keep leaning, or rather reaching, not leaning through that top arm, and keep pushing back into the back heel. Now find your way into your modified side plank. Bring the front foot to 90, knife edge the back leg, and start tracing a big circular sweeping motion through the top arm. Keep pushing off your stabilizing arm and don't lean aggressively into the floor. Square up through your feet, peeling up to open back into your wide standing straddle. Hands are either relaxing on the top of your thighs or find your T-frame, checking that your feet are beautifully squared. Find warrior two on side one. Reach long and lengthened. Look for power, look for grace, look for strength. Bend the knee elbow, set up your side angle and reach long and lengthened through the top arm. Keep pulling your belly button softly into center and move with grace as you transition from one pose to the next. Take your overhead arm, drop it to the floor, stacking underneath your shoulder, pivot on the back foot, and rotate your side angle, opening up the arms into a soft T-frame. Keep breathing, don't hold the breath. We're going to change the leg line, setting up that side, modified side plank. Square up the front foot to 90, knife edge the back leg, and start tracing big circular motions through the top arm. 2 more to go. Then you're going to drop both hands to the floor. You're going to take the front leg, feed it through, almost resting on your knife-edged foot, and drop the right hip bone towards the floor, setting up a fallen triangle. Putting the belly button softly into center and pushing off your hands strongly. Give me a few more breaths here, and then we'll relax into a pigeon for recovery. Start drawing the right knee across the body, stopping when the knee is in line with your hip or slightly wider. Tuck the lead leg into the angle that works for you. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Slide, creep, or walk the back leg away from you, finding your way softly onto the elbows or coming into full extension and extending the arms long and lengthened on the mat in front of you. Think of squaring up softly through the shoulders and the pelvic girdle. Keep your forehead softly connected to the mat or add a little thread the needle, Viribadrasana from here. Take your right hand, take a big breath in, and on an exhale, tuck your right hand underneath your left armpit, coming to rest on the right temple and just taking a soft extended stretch here. Keep reaching long and lengthened through both arms and keep your breathing soft and relaxed. Gently thread out of your threaded pigeon. Ease your way onto the elbows and then the palms. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor, and then focus on your lead leg. Think knee to nose and come to a one-legged plank. Hold for at least 10 seconds. And then you're going to square back up into your wide standing straddle. Think knee to nose, square up through the feet, peel up, either placing the hands on the top of your thighs or finding your transitional modified star. Actually, we're marrying star pose with prasarita, and we're reaching long and lengthened through both the legs and the arms. Ease your way into your warrior two on side two, dropping lower through the legs, checking that you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg and that you're reaching long and lengthened through both arms. Set up your side angle, dropping elbow to knee and reaching long and lengthened through the overhead arm. Don't lean aggressively into the lead leg. Keep pushing back into the heel of the back leg. Start rotating your side angle, stacking underneath the shoulder and opening up into a soft T-frame, tucking the back toes under and pushing back into the heel of the back leg. Stay or play. Set up your modified side angle, square up the front foot, knife edge the back leg, and start tracing big sweeping circular motions through the overhead arm. Last one. Place both palms on the mat. Think knee to nose and then feed the leg across the midline of the body, setting up your fallen triangle, almost dropping the left hip bone to the floor, feeding the leg across the midline of the body and feeding that awesome stretch into the side of that lead leg. When you're ready, start setting up your pigeon line. Think of drawing the knee back across the midline of the body, finding the angle on the lead leg that works for you. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Slide, walk, or creep the back leg away from you, squaring up through the shoulders and the pelvis before softly dropping down onto the forearms. And then if your body is willing, you're going to come into full extension and hold your pigeon line, Eka Pada Rayaka Potasana, one-legged pigeon. Stay here with the arms extended and your forehead softly connected to the mat, or thread the needle from here, taking a big breath in and tucking your left hand, palm up underneath the right armpit, and coming to rest for a few gentle breath cycles. Keep lengthening through both arms and keep trying to square up through the shoulders and the hips. Ease your way from here back onto the palms. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor. Think knee to nose and hold your one-legged plank for a few strong counts, pushing the mat strongly away and bracing through your core. Then step back into your squared wide straddle, squaring up through the feet, arms relaxing on your thighs or opening up into that soft T-like frame through the arms. Set up warrior two on side one. Reach long and lengthen through the arms. Make sure your weight is coming down evenly through the pelvis. Bend your lead elbow and set up your side angle. Reaching long and lengthened through the top arm. Look for that length in the top side of the body. Then start rotating through the trunk and the back foot. T-frame the arms. Keep pushing back into the back heel and open up into your rotated side angle. Then set up your modified side plank, squaring up the front foot, knife edging the back leg, and giving me big circular sweeps through your top arm. Let's set up our fallen triangle. Think of coming back into a plank line and feeding the lead leg across the body, bumping weight into the right hip and pushing the mat strongly away through your arms, keeping that core beautifully braced. Ready for your pigeon? Think of the leg that you've threaded through. Start drawing the knee back. When the knee's in line with your hip or slightly wider, relax the limb to the floor. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Slide, walk, or creep your back leg away easing your way onto the forearms or coming into full extension. Squaring up beautifully through the shoulders and the pelvis, staying here or threading the needle, taking your right hand, tucking it underneath the left armpit and taking a little extended stretch. Keep your breathing soft and relaxed. Try to relax on the exhale into the stretch instead of fighting it. Ease your way back into extension, making your way back onto the palms. Tuck the back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor. Think knee to nose, hold, maybe for 10 soft counts, and then we'll set up a kneeling lizard. That knee that you've got tucked in towards the nose, step it to the outside of the right hand, relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Knife edge the front foot, taking it out to 45, take your right palm, push the knee away from you, and just hold your modified lizard line, trying to have that front foot out slightly at about a 45-degree angle with the foot knife edged. Hold your modified lizard, Untitled. And then we'll take it to a little modified monkey god stretch here. Beautiful hamstring stretch. Connect both hands to the floor. Reconnect your front foot to the mat. It's still out slightly at a 45-degree angle. Walk your weight back and extend the front leg, peeling the toes up off the floor. The leg is still slightly off center. You've got both hands pushing into the mat, either fingertips or flat palms, and just take a little cat-like stretch here, dropping your crown heavy to the floor, finding a little soft contraction through the core and pulling your belly button to your spine. Then peel up, square up your front foot, interlace both hands behind your back or just float the hands behind you and just gently lean forward into a modified crescent lunge, feeling a beautiful little opening on the inside of the back hip bone. Thinking of floating the two shoulder blades together and expanding laterally through your chest. Uninterlace your hands, drop them to the mat, square up wide through your feet, find your standing straddle, either resting the hands on the top of your thighs or opening up into that beautiful soft T-frame. Take a big breath in and set up your warrior two on the second side, reaching long and lengthened and gracefully through the arms and keeping your gaze steady over the front forefinger. Then bend the lead arm, set up your side angle, trying to reach long and lengthen through the top arm. Feel that beautiful opening through the rib cage. Then start rotating through the trunk, tucking the back toe under and opening up into a rotated side angle. Keep pushing back into the back heel. Knife edge your back foot, square up your front foot, find your modified side angle, and then keep giving me big sweeping motions through the top arm. Two more, and then we'll set up our fallen triangle. Place both hands on the mats, feed the lead leg through, knife edging the foot, pushing the mat away while you bump a little bit of weight into your left hip bone. Nice and strong through the core and the shoulders. Then look at that extended leg. Feed it through, tucking into your pigeon leg and easing your way softly down to the mat, either staying on the forearms or coming into full extension with your forehead softly connected to the mat, and think of squaring up through the shoulders and the hips as best you can. Stay here or thread the needle. Take a big breath in and tuck your left hand underneath your right armpit. Staying here for a couple of gentle breath cycles with the left temple softly connected to the mat as you almost peep underneath your right armpit. Come back onto the hands. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor, and think knee to nose as you come into a one-legged plank hold, holding for 10 seconds before setting up your lizard line on the left. Stepping the left leg to the outside of the left hand, relax your back, knee, and foot. Take the front foot out to 45, creep it slightly forward, knife edge it, either leaning forward here over the front edge of your mat or taking your left palm and pushing against the inside of that left knee to open up a little bit more, maybe looking around your left shoulder to the wall behind you. Then drop both hands to the mat. Start peeling back, extending your front leg, squaring up slightly through the hips, but the leg is still off center as you push off your palms or your fingertips and round out slightly through the back, getting a nice little stretch into the lead hamstring. Then gently peel up, square up your front foot, float both hands behind you or interlace them, make a little fist, arcing slightly through the spine to maybe gently look up to the ceiling as you find your modified Crescent Lunge, Asana. Uninterlace the hands, drop them to the mat, square up through both legs, opening up as wide as you can, either dropping the hands to the top of your thighs or opening up into your T-frame through the arms. Reach long and lengthened and set up your warrior two line on side one. Knee over ankle, lead knee not collapsing in, arms long and lengthened. Bend your lead elbow, drop it to the lead leg and set up your side angle. Reaching along and lengthened through that top arm. Look for length, try to grow your whole trunk towards the ceiling. Then start rotating through the trunk and the back foot, pivoting to set up your rotated side angle. Keep reaching long and lengthened through the top arm. Then morph into your modified side plank, knife edging the back foot, squaring up through the front leg, and tracing a big circular arc through the top arm. Full 360 degrees if you can. Come to stillness, squaring up through the body and stepping the lead leg across the midline, knife edging the foot and setting up your fallen triangle. Keep pushing the mat strongly away through the arms. Ready for your pigeon? Start bending the lead leg. Set up your pigeon line. Extend the back leg. Ease your way onto the forearms or come into full extension. First, settle the weight evenly along the hips and the shoulders, and then when you're ready, you can thread, tucking the right arm underneath the left armpit and taking a couple of soft, relaxed breaths here, threading your pigeon. Ease your way back into extension. Find your way back onto the palms, tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor. Think knee to nose and hold a strong plank for at least 10 seconds if you can. If you need to, drop the knee to the floor to support your frame. Then step the right leg out to the outside of the right hand. Relax the back knee and foot. Take your front foot out to 45, knife edge it. Lean your chin over the front of your mat or take your right palm and push the right knee gently away. Looking over that right shoulder as you gently open up through the groin. Then drop both hands to the mat so that they're stacking underneath your shoulders. Ground the front foot and then draw your hips back and extend the front leg, toes peeling up off the mat. Push off your hands, taking a little cat-like stretch here. Then peel up softly through center. Heel toe your foot in. Lean forward into your crescent lunge. Hands either floating behind you or interlace them for a little bit more of a rigorous stretch, floating the two elbows and the shoulder blades as close together along the midline of the body as you can comfortably manage. Stay or play. Uninterlace the hands and use your front palm to push off the lead leg, almost trying to grow your spine up to the ceiling. Feel a nice little stretch on the inside of the back hip. If you can, float the back foot off the floor and see if you can reach for the foot, tucking it in as close towards your bum as you can. Either keep using the front hand braced for support or reach back with both hands, reaching for that foot and tucking the heel in as close to your bum as you can. To help bring the foot in closer, don't tense the back leg. Relax your quad, relax your hamstring, relax your glute. Then let go of the bind. You can drop both hands to the floor. Think of that monkey guard stretch, but relax the back foot totally and try to walk your weight back, sitting your bum cheeks around the heel of the back foot and just come into a soft extension, maybe draping your forearms to the mat or reaching for the undercarriage of the right foot. If you can't comfortably sit on the back heel, maybe taking a block and tucking it underneath your bum cheek on the right to support your frame so that your hips and your shoulders are even on both sides. Alternatively, just give me a high frame and don't sit back if it's too uncomfortable for you. Modified Anyanya Asana, marrying it with a beautiful little head to knee Yamusasana. Then gently square up through the legs. Find that wide standing straddle, peeling up. Last time, we're going to repeat that little vinyasa on the left. Reach long and lengthened through your T-frame, making sure that your feet are squared up and maybe wiggling them just a little bit wider. Then set up your warrior two on your second side. Reaching long and lengthened through the fingertips and the spine. Then drop the lead elbow and set up your side angle. Start rotating. Tuck the back toe under, push into the back heel, and think of opening up into a soft T-frame. Then knife edge your back foot, square up your front leg, and start tracing big circular sweeps through the top arm. 2 more, and then we'll set up our fallen triangle. Placing both hands on the mat, stepping the lead leg through, knife edging it, leaning the weight into your left hip and pushing the mat strongly away. Ease your way into pigeon from here, drawing that leg across. Relax the back knee and leg, slide or walk it away from you. Ease your way onto the forearms or come into full extension. Elect to stay here once you've squared up or thread through underneath the right armpit and just enjoy the stretch for a few soft counts. Ease your way back onto the palms. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor and think knee to nose coming into a one-legged plank hold. Trying to hold for maybe 10 seconds before setting up your lizard line on side 2. Stepping the left leg to the outside of the left hand, relax the back knee and foot. Front foot to 45, knife edge it. Use your left palm to gently push the knee away. Maybe peeking over that back shoulder. Then plant both palms firmly on the mat or come to spider fingertips if you need to. Draw the weight back. Think hip over knee, extending the front leg, rounding out through your spine, almost as if you were trying to push the mat away with your palms, finding a soft contraction through the core as you think of floating the back of your ribs towards the ceiling. Then peel up, squaring up your front leg. So bringing it back in line with your hip, floating the hands behind you, or maybe interlacing as you gently come into a crescent lunge. Make sure that you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg. Just open up here for a bit. And then start lengthening, maybe using your lead palm to push off that knee. See if you can reach back for the back foot. Start hugging it in towards your bum, maybe keeping yourself supported with the front hand on the lead thigh, or reaching both hands behind you, bringing that heel in as close towards your bottom as you can, making sure that you're relaxing that back limb, soft through the quad, the hamstring, and the glute. Then release your bind, keep walking the weight back, either stopping in monkey guard or keep coming back into Asana, using the block if you need to, underneath your bum cheek on the left, and then just softly drape yourself forward, maybe dropping onto the forearms, or maybe reaching for your foot, or maybe bracing softly on the shin or the thigh. Do what works for you. Hold that stretch. Keep your breathing long and relaxed. We're going to open up back into that wide straddle, but we're going to change it up. Open up the legs as wide as you can, either keeping both hands on the mat in front of you, or reach from the inside, grabbing for the ankle bones and dropping the crown of your head as low to the floor as you can. Then peel back up to center, either keeping both of your hands on the floor or crossing opposite hand to leg, taking the right hand and placing it in front of the left foot and taking a soft, twisted, rotational movement to the left. Stay or play. Maybe take that floating back arm, wrap it behind you, reaching for the opposite hip bone, and keep pushing off that base arm. If your inner thigh connection is strong and you're strong through the inner thighs and the core, you can float the bottom arm off the mat, holding on to both hips, opposite hand to hip, and using your inner thighs and your core to hold the frame steady. Ease your way back to center. Take a big breath in here, keeping both hands on the mat or reaching from the inside to reach for your ankles and dropping the crown of the head as low to the floor as you can comfortably manage, keeping both legs squared. Then let's take the twist in the opposite direction, taking the left hand, planting it in front of the right foot, and taking a soft rotational twist to the right. See if you can wrap that back arm behind you, reaching for the opposite hip bone. If the inner thigh and the core connection is strong, bring your stabilizing arm off the mat and reach for the other hip bone. Keep using your inner thighs and your core to hold the frame steady. Then gently place both hands on the mat. Heel toe your legs in. Coming into a narrow mountain, soften through the knees and peel up. We're going to come into a gentle tree line, and you can keep your current orientation on the mat. You're going to bend the right leg and place the sole of the foot on the inside of the left leg, keeping your frame small or sliding up so that the whole foot is underneath the knee, or taking that leg and placing it all the way on the inside of your stabilizing leg. Bring your hands into Jupiter Mudra by interlacing your fingers, bringing your index fingers together and crossing the thumbs. Index fingers begin looking up towards the ceiling, and then grow overhead with your index fingers. And as you come overhead, sweep or open up the arms, to take that same Jupiter bind behind your back, reaching with your index fingers to tap the wall behind you, floating the two shoulder blades together and expanding laterally through your chest. Keep that Jupiter bind behind your back as you step both feet together as close as you can into a narrow mountain. We're going to fold forward from the waist and come into a modified Uttanasana, keeping that Jupiter bind behind the back. Peel softly up along the center line and bring your Jupiter bind in front of your chest. Take a big breath in, floating your index fingers overhead towards the ceiling, but keep softening through the collarbones. On the exhale, come off center to the left with the arms as you bump the weight into the right hip bone. Inhale to come back to center and exhale to float in the opposite direction. We're going to repeat that little flow on the other side. Keeping your Jupiter bind, bring the hands down and set up your tree line, either playing small, toe on the floor, or midway, or if you can, placing that foot on the inseam of your stabilizing leg. Float your index fingers up to the sky. And once you reach the apex of your stretch, open up the arms and find Jupiter bind behind your back, floating the two shoulder blades together and expanding through the chest. Keep the Jupiter bind as you step both feet together and begin folding forward, dropping the crown of your head down towards the floor. Nice little opening through the shoulders. Gently peel up, bringing the head up last. Find your Jupiter bind in front of your chest center. Take a big breath in, float your index fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale and stretch off center to one side. Inhale to come back. Exhale to gently take it over to the other side. Ease your way back to center. Drop the arms long and lengthened at your side and pivot on your mat. Soften through the knees if you need to peel your way down into a plank line. Once you've found your plank, drop down onto the forearms. Holding your body line as parallel to the mat as you can, think of taking your left knee out to the side of the room as if you wanted to bring it towards your hip bone, and then drop your torso down onto the mat so that you're almost in a modified sphinx-like pose. Then extend the left arm out in front of you and at the same time thread your right arm underneath your left armpit and come to a little stretch here, just resting comfortably on the side of your on the right side of your head. Stay here or open up into a supine twist by rolling over onto your back, keeping that soft T-frame through the arms and maybe reaching with your right fingertips for the outside of the left knee and just gently tugging down. Then peel back to the mat, find your way back onto the forearms, tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor and find your elbow plank to repeat the stretch on the other side. Think right knee out towards the side of the room, drop down and find your modified sphinx line with the right knee gently pushing off the floor. Extend the right arm out in front of you and then thread the left arm underneath the right armpit and come to gently rest on the side of your temple. Stay here or float onto your back, opening up the arms into a soft T-frame, maybe taking your left fingertips and reaching for the top of the right knee and just gently pulling that knee down, increasing the supine twist slightly. Stay here for one or two more breaths, and then we're going to roll over onto the back into Shavasana, to end off our practice for today. Bend both knees, connect the soles of the feet to the mat, square up, wiggle yourself to the middle of the mat, extend the legs long and lengthened, aiming your big toes for the corners of your mat. Allow the inner thighs to rotate out. Arms are softly at your side, palms looking up to the ceiling, with your spine in neutral and your belly button heavy to the mat. Close your eyes and take your focus in. Visualize yourself as a beautiful, big green lily pad floating on the surface of a pond. With your big green leaf open to take in not only sunlight and air, but also water to add to that trio to help with your cellular regeneration and growth. Growing not only to expand the size of your leaf, but maybe blossoming into a beautiful lotus blue. With that thought, gently end off your practice today by bringing your hands to prayer in front of your heart and maybe just tapping your thumb tips softly to your lips. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Stay on your back for as long as you need to, and when you're ready, gently roll over to one side, pushing up softly, coming into a seated frame, making sure that you're bringing up your head last before you come to a standing frame. Thank you so much for making the time to join me on the mat today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's class. Do give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Remember to share with me your comments and your feedback. Use the display below or reach out to me on social media or email. I shall see you all for Pilates on the mat tomorrow. Until then, keep it light.